Hello learners, I am Dr. Munish Kumar Bhardwaj from School of Engineering and Technology of IGNOU. So as you remember, we were discussing about the defects in sanitary fittings. And in our last lecture, we discussed about the defects which may come in during the manufacturing stages. Then we discussed about the permissible blemishes and defects. Then we discussed about the test procedures and performance requirements. Now in this lecture, I will discuss with you the defects due to bad workmanship in fixing and malfunctioning of sanitary fittings. Before going to that defects basically, I would like to tell you some Bureau of Indian Standard codes relevant to the different sanitary fittings. IS 2064 1993, this gives a specification about selection, installation and maintenance of sanitary appliances. Then another important code is IS 774 2004, which gives a specification about flushing systems for water closets and urinals other than plastic systems. Then another important code is IS 13983 1994. It deals with the stainless steel sinks for domestic purposes. Then another code is IS 2963 1979. This tells us about the specification for copper alloy waste fittings for wash basins and sinks. So these are some relevant and important codes related to the sanitary fittings. So you may refer these codes while learning about the defects in sanitary fittings basically. So now let us discuss about defects due to bad workmanship of fixing and malfunctioning of sanitary fittings. So you know that the most common manufacturing defects in various vitreous china ware sanitary fittings that we discussed. You have already learned about the most common manufacturing defects in various vitreous china ware sanitary fittings. If the fittings are found suitable based on the acceptable criteria, now the next step involved is to provide in proper places in good workmanship way so that defect free services could be achieved by these appliances. But some defects may crop up due to careless fixing of these fittings. Here we will discuss some of the common defects that may occur due to bad workmanship. Let us see what are these. So we will take the different appliances one by one. First of all, let us discuss about the water closets. What is water closet? This is a water flushed plumbing fixture designed to receive human excreta directly from the user on the fixture. The most commonly used water closets are Indian water closets and European water closets. The general type of other closets available in the market are siphonic water closets with cistern, siphonic water closets with flushing valves, etc. These are the other water closets. Now, what are the fundamental defects of water closets? Let us discuss one by one. First is leak in the joints between the pan and the trap, which is very common defect. You will find the leakage between the pan and the trap. Due to improper workmanship, the joints between the pan and trap may not be packed and jointed properly. On account of this, water may leak, leading to water seal being reduced or eliminated, or the flushing water oozing out while flushing. And what is the impact of it? If the water seal is reduced or the water seal is broken, then the foul gases will be coming into the toilet. So that water seal is very important. The minimum depth of water seal required is 50 mm. Second defect is improper flushing. Due to the flushing being improper or inadequate flushing, it can be seen that excretory matter could not be fully discharged through the outlet, causing large score or unhygienic situation. Hence, if the water closets with cistern is not able to flush out the matter, we have to conclude that system is defective. To ensure whether the system is defective or not, the water closets may be connected to the flushing cistern and the following tests may be conducted in the normal working position. What are these tests? Test number 1. The water closets shall be filled with water to its normal seal level and then charged with 6 pieces of usual toilet paper or polythene sheet of 0.05 mm thickness, approximately 150 by 115 mm in size and loosely crumpled. It shall then be flushed. This test shall be repeated 4 times and the pen shall discharge the full charge of paper or polythene at least thrice out of the 4 times. So, if it is so, then it is fine. If it fails to do so, then it is defective. Then test number 2. The whole of the interior surface of the bowl of water closet 40 mm below the flushing rim pan shall be smudged. Smudged means when we apply a layer of some material, then we call as smudged. So, with what we are smudging here? That this is smudged with a substance such as clay or lamp black and shall then be flushed. The water closets being observed closely during the flush. Immediately after the flush, there shall be no smudge remaining on the bowl. If it is so, then it is okay. If something remains on the bowl, then it is defective. Now, test number 3. The water closets, when sealed at bottom of the trap, shall be capable of holding not less than 10 liters of water between the normal water level and the highest possible water level of the water closet. This is the third test. If these tests are not satisfied, the water closet is defective, the defect shall be rectified or the system should be replaced. Now, let us move to another appliances, that is wash basins. Wash basins are mainly made of ceramic ware and as you know, these are used for cleaning your hands and face. The general requirement for materials, manufacturers and inspection shall conform to Indian standard specification, means the specifications which are given in the IS code. Wash basins shall be of different pattern and sizes. The common patterns are flat back and angle back. Wash basin can also be divided based on shape. These are being manufactured in different sizes also. However, all wash basins, it shall be one piece construction including a combined overflow and soap holder. That provision should be there, means that for overflow and the soap holder provision should be there. All internal angles shall be designed so as to facilitate cleaning. There should not be sharp edges. All the flat rims shall slope inside towards the bowl, so that if any water is there, it should seep into the bowl. It should go into the bowl. The wash basins shall have either single tap or double tap hole. If one tap is only to be provided, the other hole may be filled with china clay. Means if that wash basin is having 2 tap holes and we are using only 1 tap hole, then other hole should be filled with the china clay. The wash basin shall be mounted on a pair of cast iron wall fixing single rail type bracket. How to fix? That is mentioned here. The wash basin shall be provided with 32 mm size chrome plated brass chain along with the chrome plated brass bottle trap, heavy quality at the outlet. The outlet of bottle trap shall be connected to 32 mm galvanized iron waste pipe of medium quality. Pedestal type supports are also available for the wash basins. If the wash basin is not meeting the requirement as mentioned here or in as per the IS specifications, the same will be defective. If any other individual item mentioned is different, the system is defective. In addition, the most vulnerable points regarding leaks are joint between the waste coupling and the basins, and the joint between PVC connection to the pillar cock. Blockage of bottle trap due to solid or fibrous materials due to lack of periodical cleaning, that may also cause problem. Now we move to flushing cistern. Flushing cisterns are governed, or their specifications are given in IS code 774/2004. What is flushing cistern? This is a tank or a chamber in which water is stored and discharged at intervals for flushing sewer lines or flushing toilets. Flush tanks of vitreous chinaware, pressed steel, PVC or plastic materials are being extensively used. Apart from the cistern, other components involved are flush pipe, ball valve, chain and overflow pipe. Cisterns may be high level cistern or low level cistern. Two types of cisterns. High level cistern is one intended to operate with a minimum height of 125 centimeter, and low level cistern intended to operate with a height not exceeding 30 centimeter, measured from the top of the pan and the underside of the cistern. So that is the classification, how we classify high level cistern and low level cistern. Here you see the typical illustration of siphonic type dual flush cistern. Here on left you see the curved siphonic type, and on the right you see the bell type. So here you can see the cistern of two different types. Again in this next figure you see here the non-siphonic dual flush cistern. So it is just to give you a glimpse that and a feel that what is cistern basically and what are its parts. So you can look from this figure. Now let us move to tests on cisterns. First test, that is the endurance test for acceptance of cistern. A sample of flushing cistern picked at random from production shall be first checked for conformity to the requirement with respect to materials, and the specifications regarding material are given in the section 4 of IS code 774/2004. Then also it should be checked for construction, the specifications for which are given in section 5 of IS 774/2004, and it should also be checked for operation and performance requirements, for which the details are given in the section 4 of IS code 774/2004 as per Indian standard specifications. So we have to check this cistern, first material, then construction, then operation and performance requirement. On three criteria we have to check the cisterns. In order to check whether it complies with the specification, it should be operated 3000 times, and we have to see that whether it is functioning properly or not. After these tests, the cistern and component parts shall not show any damage or defects, and all the parts shall then be declared satisfactory. Now tests during commissioning. What tests we do during commissioning of these appliances? After the cistern is connected to water closets, the following tests should be conducted. First is test for discharge capacity. With the water supply shut off, or if the cistern is disconnected with the ball valve fitted till the cistern with water up to the marked water line. Fill the cistern with the water up to the marked water line. Then operate the flushing mechanism, and on completion of flushing, measure the quantity of water that has to be added to refill the cistern to the level of the marked water line. Alternatively, any suitable device may be used for measuring the quantity of water discharged from the cistern. The cistern should have a flush pipe fitted but need not be connected to a pan for this test. So basically this test is for that discharge, that at what rate the water is coming out from the cistern. Then test for rate of discharge. A cistern for high level flushing shall be connected to a flush pipe of appropriate size and shall be filled to the water line as for the capacity test, and a vessel shall be placed during the test at the open end of the flush pipe. The flush mechanism shall be operated, and as water appears at the open end of the flush pipe, a stopwatch shall be started. At the end of 5 seconds, quickly remove the vessel or divert the flow of water and measure the volume of water collected in the vessel. So, if you have measured the volume, then you have taken this volume in 5 seconds, so you can calculate the rate of discharge. For low level flushing, the same test procedure shall be followed, but the appropriate size of flush pipe shall be used. Now, what are the other defects? The common defects in flushing cisterns are: number 1, defect in siphonic arrangements. Cistern shall operate on the valveless siphon principle, the siphonic action being started by operating lever. The cistern under working condition and with the ball valve in position shall operate in single operation of the lever without calling for sudden jerk in pulling. Means if you are pulling smoothly, then it should work properly. Now sometimes the flushing does not start immediately on pulling the chain, and the chain pulling has to be repeated many times to commence the flushing. In such a case, system is defective and it calls for the rectification of the defect. The lever alignment and the position of the ball shall be checked. The lever and the ball shall be positioned properly if they are not in their position. Next is freedom from self-siphonage. The siphonic system shall be capable of being rapidly brought into action when the water is at the working water level, but shall not self-siphon or leak into the invert of the overflow pipe. Self-siphon is a nuisance in addition to the wastage of water, and this defect shall be attended. Means this defect should be corrected. This defect is mainly due to the malfunctioning of the ball valve, and thereby more water than specified level is collected in the cistern, and the siphon cap is lifted automatically due to the water pressure. This gives rise to the self-siphonage. The ball is to be set right so that the ball valve closes precisely when water level reaches the specified level. Then another test is for reduced water level. The discharge shall operate satisfactorily when the cistern is filled to a level up to 1 centimeter below the working water level. If the discharge is not possible on above situation, it is defective. If the discharge is underrated, the flush tank is defective and needs replacement. It is also possible that waste hole is not beveled neatly. Beveled means making the sloping edge instead of square one. Means that we have to make the edges sloping. Next is discharge capacity and rate. A tolerance of plus 0.5 liters for various capacities are permissible, and discharge rate shall be 5 liters in 3 seconds, and there shall be no appreciable change in the force of flush during the period of discharge. This is the permissible limit. Ball valve operation. The design shall permit the cistern to fill in rapidly and close when the level of water reaches the working water level. Then lever. Lever is the most vulnerable item for defects. Due to constant use, and because of constant use, there is a wear and tear. So for this reason, this is the most vulnerable item for defects. The lever can be operated by chain In case of high level cistern, it can also be operated by lever in case of low level cistern. The lever shall not project beyond the side of cistern a distance greater than 35 centimeter measured from the center of the cistern to the end of the lever arms. Worn out lever shall be replaced as and when found necessary. The next is chain. The chain shall not be too flimsy. Flimsy means it should not be thin and weak, because a thin and weak chain may be easily broken or damaged. So we have to take care that the chain is not too flimsy, and it shall be capable of sustaining 50 kg of dead load without any apparent deformation. Means if you hang a 50 kg load to this chain, then there should not be any visible deformation to the chain, then we say that chain is good. The finish shall be smooth, and all burrs which are liable to cause injury to the hand when gripped shall be removed. There should not be any burrs on the surface of the chain. The chain shall end up with a handle, means there should be a handle to operate at the end of the chain. Then overflow pipe. The overflow pipe shall not be less than 20 mm diameter. Means if there is overflow in the cistern, then that overflow that will come out through this overflow pipe, and the diameter of the overflow pipe shall not be less than 20 mm. The overflow pipe shall incorporate a non-corrodable mosquito-proof device secured in a manner which will permit it to be readily cleaned or renewed whenever necessary. No provision shall be made whereby the overflows from the cistern shall discharge directly into the water closet or the soil pipe. So this care we should take. Now urinals. Urinals may be flat back, angle back, stall urinals, stab urinals. So these are the different type of urinals. The most commonly used urinals are flat back and angle back. Now we will discuss the common defects in the urinals. First is bowl urinals. Bowl urinals shall be one piece construction with integral flux box rim. A minimum number of 12 holes shall be equally distributed in the box rim to ensure satisfactory flushing. The inside surface of the urinal shall be regular and smooth as to ensure efficient flushing. The design of the urinal shall be such that when properly installed, there shall be no liquid left over the bottom pan of the urinal after flushing. So this should be ensured. Now sinks. Sinks can be divided as kitchen sink and laboratory sink. Kitchen sinks are to be invariably provided with drain boards, and laboratory sinks may not have drain boards. Drain boards are meant for that when you have cleaned the utensil, then that it should help in draining out of that water. Sinks may be provided with or without overflow arrangement. The sinks shall be one piece construction including combined overflow where provided. Sinks shall have a circular waste hole into which the interior of sink shall drain. The waste hole shall be beveled with an overall diameter of 65 cm and a depth of 10 mm to suit a waste. The sinks shall conform to the dimensions as per the Indian Standard Code specifications. The most vulnerable point of defect is joint between the waste coupling and the waste pipe. This is the most vulnerable point. If the jointing is not proper, water may leak from this joint. So in this lecture, we discussed about the defects due to bad workmanship of fixing and malfunctioning of different sanitary fittings. I hope you must have enjoyed. In next lecture, we will discuss about the defects in bath fittings. So thank you for watching.